Hey guys, welcome back in. Tim here. In this module of Fast Track Training, we're going to talk about the closing attorney, the process of getting a home to closing, what happens at closing, and what you as an agent are responsible for doing to get your client to closing. Now, a closing attorney might also be called a title company. Basically what that is an attorney's office that specializes in the preparation of title, getting the deed together, doing the title search, doing all the legal documents required to formally close a transaction and transfer title from the seller to the new buyer. All right, and again, that is typically an attorney's office, and they get all that paperwork done for you. So once you sit down at the title company, the closing table, everything should be good to go. Another thing the title company does is they are in constant contact with the lender, the buyer's lender, because they have to work in concert, okay? All of the lending process has to happen before the closing process can happen. The lending process being where the buyer gets a pre-qualification letter, then gets, once the contract is signed, they start the lending process. They get all of their documents to the lender. The lender does the credit check. The lender sends out the appraisal. It goes to underwriting. And finally, the lender will deliver the closing documents, the CD, to the title company. And basically the lender's closing documents say, we have done all of our work, we have qualified and approved and underwritten this borrower, we are willing to supply money to close this deal. Now, in the meantime, what the title company does is they're doing the title work. They're going and searching through courthouse records. They're looking at the deed. They are making sure that the home to be sold has what's called clear title, meaning the seller has clear title to sell the home and no one else has any other claims. All right, that's the part of the title company and the lender, and they work in concert to do the loan, do the title work, and get the deal closed. So let's talk a little bit about what your responsibilities are as the agent. If you are the buying agent, once you submit your offer, it is negotiated, the deal is done, then you have to make sure that your client, the buyer, starts the loan process with the lender. You should be in constant contact with that lender, making sure that your client is supplying all of the documentation required, that the loan is being processed, that the appraisal is being scheduled. Don't ever take for granted that that lender and that client are doing everything required to get the loan done on the house. It is up to you to ride herd over your buyer and the lender to make sure everything is kept on track. You should also be in touch with the title company. You need to supply them with your client's information. You need to supply them with contact for the lender. On the selling side, when you get that contract, what I do is this: whomever is choosing the title company, the buyer or the seller, then their agent is responsible for submitting those documents. Now, let me say this. We did another video about negotiating. The title company that closes could be a point of negotiation. It may be that you, the agent, like to do business with ABC Title. It may be that the agent on the other side has a relationship with 123 Title. Typically, whomever is paying the closing costs will get to choose the title company, okay? Meaning that if the seller offers to pay some of the buyer's closing costs, seller gets to pick. If the buyer is paying his own closing costs, well, then they have more right to choose, all right? Typically, the seller picks, but it can go to both sides. Honestly, at the end of the day, it makes very little difference which title company you choose because they do exactly the same thing. They look through the same documents. They do the same procedures. They may charge differently for their time. That's the only thing. All right? So whomever is choosing the title company, that's who should supply a copy of all the documents to the title company. Okay? For example, like if you are the selling agent and you are choosing title, you will send them the contract, the inspection addendum. I send them everything, the pre-qualification letter. I send that over to title. Now, one thing that the buyer's agent should do, and I neglected to mention this, is get the earnest money from the client, okay? Get that check made out to the title company and deposit it at the title company, okay? Some real estate companies do hold title money or earnest money. We don't at Revolve. There's a very large responsibility to holding earnest money. So we insist that the title company always has it. So that earnest money needs to be deposited with title within 3 days of contract signing. Okay? So once that's there, all the documents have been sent to title, the earnest money has been put on deposit. You, the buyer's agent, are working with the lender to make sure things are going good there. The seller's agent, you're in constant contact with your client as well, because at some point there's probably going to be an inspection of the property. There's going to be a request for repairs. That has to be negotiated. We talked about that in another video. We do a video specifically on the inspection process and the request for repairs. Make sure you watch that. So from both sides, everyone should be in constant contact with title. If you are on the buy side, you should be in constant contact with the lender, all right, on a daily basis. Okay, a lot of these lenders, they have a lot of clients, and if they're like a national lender, like a Loan Depot or Quicken Loans or Rocket Mortgage, which I'm not a fan of, because you don't really get assigned a central point of contact. You may call Rocket Mortgage and get someone on the phone every time. It's like calling tech support. I am very much a fan of local lenders. I want my clients working with someone that I can go see on a daily basis if I need to. So anyway, that's it. The title process, it's actually a pretty simple process. You know, the lenders are really good at working the loan. The title companies are really good at checking title, getting all the documentation together, and then they come together. You have the buyer on one side of the table, the seller on the other side, the attorney sits at the head, and he has people sign back and forth, and everyone gets copies, and then that will lead to the close. All right? And your client is guaranteed. The seller is guaranteed that he's getting paid. The lender, that money is going to go into his account. The buyer is guaranteed that he's getting clear title on the home. No one is going to come back later and try to put a claim on the title. If they do, by some strange stroke, there is title insurance in place. All right, so that's the closing process from the time you get a contract to the time you get a check, and that's the big thing. We get paid at the closing table. So, all right, if you have any comments or questions, drop them in below and I will address it for the group. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next video.